Hey guys, welcome to Rachaka Yoga and just a brief practice for the hips. I don't really have anything planned today as to what it's going to look like or the amount of time it's going to take, but we'll see where it goes. So go ahead and start out lying on your back in a position that's most comfortable for you. Whether that be arms down alongside the body, palms facing up, and legs extended, or hands on the belly, knees bent, and feet planted. And just starting to focus on your breath. Noticing the inhale and the exhale as you breathe through your nose. Filling into your lungs first on the inhale, and then letting the belly expand. And on the exhale, you engage the muscles of the core. You drag the belly button back towards the spine, narrowing the waistline and forcing the breath up and out of the body as the lungs decompress. Repeating this process over and over again over the course of your practice. Letting your inhales really feel the expansion of the body, and your exhales feel the contraction of the body. The way the muscles engage to support you as you go deeper into the pose on the exhale. And making sure today as you practice that you just focus on giving yourself enough space on your mat with your breath in all of your poses. Let's go ahead and make our way to a downward facing dog. Downward dog in inverted V position. Spread your hands wide on the mat. Spread the fingers really far apart so that the pinky is touching the outside edge of your mat. This allows space for the collarbones to drop forward between the arms. Then we tuck our toes and we lift our hips up and back. We press down on our hands in between the forefinger and the thumb, really securing and using the muscles in our arms to support us with that. And our knees have a slight bend, pushing our hips up and back, looking for a nice flat back. Ears are in line with the arms. The core is engaged, and the bottom 6 ribs pull down towards the belly button. We do that to flatten out the spine. And you come back to your breath, the same pace on both the inhale and the exhale. And then step the right foot forward between the hands, walking into a runner's lunge. You'll release the back knee down to the mat, and you'll walk the right foot far enough forward that the knee is directly above the heel. Then flex the toes, lifting the toes off of the mat, but keeping the ball of the foot and the heel firm into the floor. Walk the foot a little bit more over to the right edge of your mat and bring both hands to the inside of the leg, just creating that space for the belly, that space for the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide, press down through the pointer finger and the thumb. The hips move forward and down, getting a stretch on the top of the back leg or the inside of the front leg. Come back to your breath. Try not to build tension in the neck and in the shoulders. And switch sides. Stepping the left foot forward. Walking into your lunge, releasing the right knee to the floor. Remember to find the alignment of the knee directly over the ankle on the front leg and flex the toes off of the mat. Walk the foot towards the outside edge, the left edge of the mat, and bring the arms to the inside of the leg, pressing the palms down flat. Soften a little bit through the shoulders, like you're trying to drop the sternum down between the arms. Let the hips come forward and down. And gently pull the left hip back and push the right hip forward to square the hips off. This just helps to create support through the hips so that as our practice progresses, we're better able to engage those muscles and use them to find deeper expansions in all of our poses. Good, step back, downward facing dog. Find that nice flat spine, bend the knees, press the hips up and back. Keep the heels off the floor, try not to lock out your space. Again, in today's practice, look forward between the hands and try to push your collarbones forward, not leading with your chin. Bringing the shoulder blades together on the back, engage the core and walk the feet to the top of the mat. Hip bone width distance apart. You can usually measure this by placing 2 fists in between the feet. The toes point straight forward. The inside edges of the feet touch the outside edges of your hands. The knees have a little bit of a bend. The arms hang heavy and the head drops towards the floor. Now flex the toes and engage the legs like you're trying to squeeze something in between your inner thighs. You can leave your arms on the mat or you can take hold of opposite bicep or opposite elbow. And then begin to tip the weight slightly forward into the balls of your feet, keeping the toes lifted. A little bit of weight is still in the heels, but we're mainly feeling it right at the base so that our sit bones, our butt bones can lift a little bit higher and we can find a deeper stretch through the back of our legs. Let the upper body remain completely relaxed. It's not usually about the length of time that we do a practice for or that we even hold a pose for. It's about the quality, the engagement that we have in our practice, in our poses, in our breath. Making sure that we stay connected to the body. Good, release the arms if you have them bound. Keep the toes lifted and start to bend the knees as if sitting back in a chair. So you're going to try to keep the knees behind the toes here. Try to bring the back of the thighs parallel to the floor. Keep the toes lifted. Engage a lot of strength. Lift the belly off of the thighs. A nice flat spine. Collarbones push forward, tailbone pushes back. This pose is often called Utkatasana or Thunderbolt pose or Powerful pose. The palms come to touch, heart center. We engage the low core to support the low back. And we sink down a little bit more, really building heat through the thighs. Good, next exhale, straighten the legs, release into the forward fold again. Plant the hands, take your time here. Make sure that the pinkies touch the outside edge of the mat. You can press down firm and then come back to downward facing dog. Length through the body. Lengthening the arms and the legs away from the torso. Still keep the shoulder blades down the back, keeping space in between the ears and the shoulders. Nice long neck. And really press the tailbone up and back. Engage the low core, as if you're trying to lengthen your low back, which you actually are when you engage the core. bring the right foot forward between the hands again. Set up in that same runner's lunge. This time we'll keep the foot more centered on the mat. We'll flex the toes. We find the same lunge, so the knee's in the same position, directly above the heel. The back knee's down and the back toes are tucked. If you need to pat the back knee with a blanket or another mat or a towel, please do so. Come up onto your fingertips. Try to lift the belly off of the thigh just a little. Press the collarbones forward. Take your left elbow to the outside edge of your right knee. Bring the palms to touch and press the palms together to press the elbow into the knee and twist towards your front leg. Looking for a nice long spine in the twist. We don't want to come all the way up into a full lunge and then twist. We want to keep the belly kind of in line with the thigh, the hips coming forward and down. And we twist by the strength of our exhale and the engagement of our core muscles there. And then to stabilize, we pull the right hip back, we push the left hip forward. Until our hip muscles train in that position, it's going to feel a bit more wobbly. Try to steady your breath. And release. Switch sides. Step the left foot forward, release the right knee down. Find the proper position for a lunge. This is really important. We don't want the knee passing the ankle because we don't need to put extra stress on the knee. And it's really important to take the time to set up appropriately for your posture so that you don't end up injuring yourself in the long run. Flex the toes off the mat. We flex the toes to engage the muscles in the feet, stabilizing all the way up our legs. Back knee is down. Toes are tucked there as well. Come up onto the fingertips. Start here, pull the left hip back, push the right hip forward. Keep the hips moving forward and down as you're here. And then take the right elbow to the outside edge of the left knee. Bring the palms to touch. Press the palms together to come into the twist, creating resistance between the right elbow and the left knee. Once there, exercise your exhale. Pull the left hip back, push the right hip forward. Good, release. Switch sides again. Right foot comes forward. Left foot back. Walk into your lunge, and this time keep the back knee lifted. So you're really pressing out through the left heel, trying to reach it out behind you and get all of the muscles on the left leg to hug your thigh bone, your shin bone, and your knee. Pull the right hip back, push the left hip forward. Maintain the strength in the legs as if you're trying to squeeze them together, and bring the hands to the top of the thigh. Look at one point on the floor or out in front of you that's not a moving point, and raise the arms overhead into your crescent lunge. Keep the legs really strong and allow the legs to give you the expansion in the upper body. So we kind of create a curvature along our spine as if bending back or rolling back over a ball. Pinching our shoulder blades closer together and pushing our sternum forward, all while engaging our core to protect our low back. Then spreading the fingers wide, reach up and out, push the collarbones towards the ceiling without lifting the chin and leading with the chin. Good, release. Hands to the mat, switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Engage your legs here, keep the back knee lifted, and find the strength of the back leg. Try to press the back of that right thigh up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the muscle to the bone, lift the left toes. Bring the hands to the top of the thigh. Stabilize again. Find your point of focus, your drishti. Then raise the arms overhead. Spread the fingers really wide. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. Find length in the neck. Lift with the push the sternum forward and engage the low core to protect your low back. Good. Hold on with me. One more breath. Squeeze the legs a little bit more. Good. Exhale. Plant the hands. Step back. Down dog. Make sure you set your down dog up correctly. Child's pose. Knees wide on the mat, the big toes touch. The hips come back towards the heels. The forehead comes to the floor. And the arms reach towards the top of the mat. But the elbows are relaxed on the mat. So take this pose as a rest rather than as an active position. Come back to the steadying of the breath. Good. Flip over, lie on your bellies. Flip over, lie on your backs. Keep the knees bent and the feet planted. Take the hands to the belly. And the knees should point straight up towards the ceiling. Toes are lifted off of the mat, but the ball of the foot and the heel are firm. Draw the right knee into the chest. Take hold of the top of the right shin, below the knee. And pull that leg in towards the outside edge of your torso. Now extend the left leg onto the floor and flex the left foot. Look down at your left toes. Make sure they point straight up towards the ceiling and they aren't pointing in or pointing out. And really push out through the heel like you're trying to press the back of the thigh down into the floor. Take hold of the back of the right thigh. Interlace the fingers there. And extend the leg up towards the ceiling, flexing the foot here as well. Keep the thigh perpendicular to you, to your torso. Keep the activity in the foot and press the thigh into the hands. Whether your knee straightens out all the way or not is insignificant. What's important is that you're getting the stretch in the back of the leg. And to get that stretch, we want to create a little bit of resistance so that the muscles are actually working for the stretch. The goal here is to, in this whole practice and all the style that I teach, is to balance your strength and flexibility. Make sure we use the muscles as we stretch the muscles. Good, you should be working hard. It should be difficult, but not building tension in the neck and in the shoulders and in the jaw. Good, next exhale, return to the starting position. Knees bent, feet planted on the mat. Palms to the belly. Feel the way the low back connects to the floor. And hug the left knee into the chest. Interlace the fingers over the top of the shin, below the knee. Pull the knee towards the outside edge of the torso. And then extend the right leg down along the mat. Try to press the back of the right thigh into the floor. Push out through the heel. Check out your right toes. Make sure they're pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Remember, it's quality, not quantity. Keep the shoulders and the neck relaxed. Take hold of the back of the thigh and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the thigh perpendicular to your upper body, but push out through the heel whether the leg straightens out fully or not. Create that resistance. Using that resistance to move deeper into your pose, to move deeper into the stretch. And on your next exhale, return to the starting position. Knees bent, feet planted. Palms to the belly. Let the low back relax into the floor first. And take the arms down alongside the body. Remove anything out from underneath your head, whether that be a mat or a blanket or a ponytail. Keep the nose pointing straight up towards the ceiling for the safety of your own neck. Walk the heels in closer to the butt so that the fingers can barely touch the heels here. And then on your next inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips, bridge pose. The chest pushes a little bit towards the chin here, but we press the back of the head into the mat as if trying to lengthen and keep the chin away from the chest. Keep the natural curvature of your cervical spine, of your neck, rather than trying to flatten the spine out onto the floor. Steady your breath and push out strong through your knees. Lift your toes off of the mat and feel your heels press down into the floor. Good, next exhale, lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Wait a minute once your hips get to the floor. Let the muscles of your low back relax here again. And then take the soles of the feet together and drop the knees out wide for a Supta Baddha Konasana or reclined cobbler's pose. The arms can come out wide, palms facing up, or the palms can come to the belly. Close the eyes and just start to feel the weight of your body into the mat. And the curve. The parts of your body that press firm into the floor. Let the body just rest into it. If it's a little too much on the low back or the inner thighs, just extend the legs out onto the mat. Start to listen to the sound of your own breath again. It's amazing what our breath can reveal to us. In our postures, it can become short, quick, gasping, which is a direct indication to the fact that we are working ourselves too hard and inefficiently. The more controlled our breath is, the better shape our nervous system will be in. the better we operate in the world. And the more aware we become of our surroundings and of ourselves. It sounds like a lot of hokey pokey. However, if you start to exercise your breath more on a regular basis and do it correctly, which I have a video on YouTube that you can refer to for that. It's called An Intro to Breathing. You will begin to notice all of these differences happening. Your sleep cycles will improve, your eating habits will improve. And it's only because we're working on the nervous system. We're working on anxiety levels and stress levels. And when those are under more control, everything else in our life becomes under more control as well. And go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Feel the back flatten out again on the mat. And then roll into a fetal position on either the right or left side. Let the body be in full relaxation here. The head is supported by an arm, the knees drop towards the floor, just like you're sleeping. And then press up to a seated position. Sit up straight without exaggerating, pushing the chest forward, and without exaggerating, engaging the core. Don't work all the muscles in your body to sit upright. We want to make it sustainable, possible to do all the time. So to do that, we cannot fatigue ourselves. Thank you guys for tuning in. Namaste.